Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's explainer. We are looking at something that is basically going to rewire how you interact with data. It's Claude's interactive visuals feature. You might have heard it called Imagine with Claude in the past. And trust me, it completely bypasses all that awful friction of dealing with static images and clunky spreadsheets. Right, so picture your typical workflow when you're handed, say, 6 months of sales data. You know the drill. You're bouncing between tabs, copy-pasting into Excel or Google Sheets, digging through all those endless chat interfaces and menus, and tweaking settings just to get one basic hoverable bar chart. It is insanely tedious. Well, what if you could just paste those raw numbers straight into your chat, type, "make this a chart," and literally seconds later have a fully interactive visualization? No spreadsheets at all. And that brings us to the most important number in this entire explainer: 0. You need exactly 0 extra software to do this. Because since April 2026, generating these interactive diagrams is built natively, directly inside claude.ai for all paid plans. You literally just need to know how to ask it. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is it clears up a massive misconception. When we think of AI image generation, we usually think of tools like DALL-E or Midjourney, right? But those just generate static pixels. They draw flat pictures. Claude doesn't do that. It actually writes the underlying code, the HTML, the SVG, the JavaScript that your web browser runs. It's not just making an image, it's literally building a lightweight interactive application for you on the fly. Let's look at a real-world example to see how this actually works. Say you have a personal finance blogger who wants to show how a 5% versus 10% compound interest rate changes things over 20 years. But minor problem, they don't know a single line of JavaScript. Well, they don't need to. They just type out a plain English prompt, something like, create an interactive compound interest chart. Include sliders for starting amount, annual interest rate, and time period. And this brilliantly illustrates the magic of what happens next. In seconds, out pops this live visualization. And remember, it's not a static picture. You can literally grab that interest rate slider, drag it from 5% up to 10%, and watch the curve physically steepen right in front of you. The total portfolio value, say jumping up to $94,300, recalculates instantly. There's no waiting, no page reloads. You are fluidly interacting with your data. So the whole workflow boils down to just 3 completely no-code steps. First, paste your data. Second, write your prompt in plain English. And third, and this is an absolutely crucial role, convert it to a standalone artifact. If you don't do this, as you keep chatting, your beautiful new visual is just going to get pushed way up into the chat scroll and disappear. Converting it moves the whole thing into a persistent side panel, so it stays safe and easy to get to. Now, let's talk about when you should actually use this on-demand visual thinking tool. This is your go-to when you need active manipulation, things like sliders, clickable stages, or those handy hover tooltips. But definitely do not use this for high-resolution photography, highly branded company graphics, or live enterprise database dashboards. For glossy photos, stick to dedicated tools like Midjourney, and for scheduled production reporting, stick to Tableau. So the crucial point is this. You now have the power to turn plain English descriptions into live, functional, clickable charts. No coding required. You're generating browser-executable code that you can actually manipulate yourself without any clunky third-party widgets. You're not just staring at static data anymore. You are literally interacting with it. If you want to master this workflow and see a full chapter packed with worked examples, you've got to check out the Claude Master ebook at claudemaster.net. This really is a total game changer for how we communicate data. It makes you wonder, what boring table of numbers will you bring to life today?